The press secretary for Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs recently resigned from her position after the woman in question decided to seemingly endorse lethal violence against quote-unquote transphobes mere hours after a transgender terrorist took to a private Christian school in Tennessee and took the lives of 3 children and 3 faculty members. We're going to go ahead and dive into this social media controversy involving this now former press secretary here on The Breakdown. Hey, this is Greg Hoyt from The Breakdown. If you're new here and checking out the channel on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at GregHoytLET. Anyway, let's get on to the video. As many are likely already aware, the city of Nashville, Tennessee, endured a horrific tragedy that transpired at a private Christian school where a transgender by the name of Audrey Hale decided to take the lives of 3 children and 3 staff members at the school. While the general public has not been afforded all the details regarding this transgender motivations in the horrific incident, what the general public does know is that Hale was a female to male transgender and purportedly had a manifesto, and authorities have shared with the general public that Hale was ostensibly targeting a myriad of places, even up to and including her own family. That being said, in the wake of any kind of tragedy of this scale, it is not uncommon to take to the internet, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, what have you, and find a myriad of bad takes in relation to these types of incidents. Namely, people who have a difficult time reading the room and knowing what is and is not appropriate to post in light of certain things. And now, former Arizona gubernatorial press secretary Jocelyn Berry has learned that the hard way with respect to maybe you shouldn't post extremely bad takes hours after a tragedy. So not even 12 hours after the transgender Audrey Hale took the lives of 6 innocent victims at a Christian school, Jocelyn Berry took to Twitter with the following post that read, "If you work in the progressive community and are transphobic, you're not progressive. Period. End of story. It's not hard to understand, but your bigotry masquerading as feminism absolutely is." Another Twitter user by the name of Elise responded, "Not sure these transphobic from the left posers know who they're messing with," which Jocelyn then responded with this GIF. The GIF in question is a screen cap from the 1980s movie Gloria, which features the woman holding 2 guns and a caption that reads, "Us when we see transphobes." Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out just how grossly inappropriate that type of post would be literally hours after innocent children and staff members at a Christian school were gunned down by a transgender. There's really no other way to digest it. What Jocelyn Berry was inferring with that image and caption that she shared hours after the incident in Nashville, she was inferring that it is okay to gun down people who do not adhere to the transgender ideology. It's almost as if Jocelyn Berry was endorsing what happened in Nashville in some way, shape, or form, because she left that post up despite getting an amalgamation of backlash from people pointing out just how gross and how inappropriate it was to be posting something like that, not only because it being hours after what transpired in Nashville, but also the fact that she is the press secretary for Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs here in Arizona. Instead of Jocelyn Berry, having a moment of self-reflection and maybe not just outwardly endorsing the actions of a transgender, instead of her, taking down the post on her own volition, no, Twitter actually wound up taking down the post because it violated their terms of service, which, appears to be the glorification of violence. Of course, there was no public apology. There was no, "Hey, I messed up," or "Hey, I didn't mean that," and "Hey, I know this was in bad taste." None of that came up. Instead, Jocelyn Berry decided to protect her Twitter account so that way only those in her inner circle could see what she was posting, which it's hard to tell now at this point whether she's doubled down her activities or not. But what I can say, because as of March 29th, the governor's office did confirm that Jocelyn Berry tendered her resignation.
And you about to lose your job. You ain't even got no job because you training. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Is this shit worth you losing your job?
A statement from Governor Katie Hobbs' office reads, "The governor does not condone violence in any form. This administration holds mutual respect at the forefront of how we engage with one another. The post by the press secretary is not reflective of the values of the administration. The governor has received and accepted the resignation of the press secretary." Now, come on, let's all be honest. I don't think Jocelyn Berry resigned. I don't think Jocelyn Berry was like, "You want to know something? I do feel bad. Let me give my resignation." I'm pretty sure Jocelyn Berry got fired. And while I'm not a huge fan of things like cancel culture or, going after somebody's job or anything like that, this is kind of a big deal when you are a press secretary. Your whole job revolves around PR. And you, as the press secretary, manage to conjure up bad press for the administration you are supposed to be putting in the best light. That kind of does deserve a termination of one's services, a termination of one's employment, because you've effectively demonstrated that you do not know how to do the job you were hired to do. Basically what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be losing any sleep because Jocelyn Berry managed to get terminated from her press secretary role after conjuring up some bad press because she put ostensibly the most gross and distasteful thing one could throw out into the ether in the wake of what transpired in Nashville that very day. Then again, the conduct of Berry herself, her taking that stance and seemingly endorsing the actions of this transgender, it's not surprising, because if you see some of the alternate news headlines that have been conjured by, outlets like NBC, and you've seen the commentary and the rhetoric thrown out by other people who have been commenting on the tragedy in Nashville, you have a lot of people that are somehow blaming the school, blaming Christians at large, or writing entire articles about how the transgender community is now in greater fear before because one of their own decided to target Christians. I don't know. Make it make sense. It's almost as though these individuals from the transgender community, some of them are just living in a world that does not exist because they are reacting to non-existent fears being ginned up by, political pundits and outlets claiming that there is some sort of existential threat on the horizon that is ever looming, and they always have to be on guard from the likes of conservatives and Christians and white people and so on and so forth. Again, complete nonsense. It is a non-existent threat. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much long and short of it. Go ahead and share your thoughts on the matter below in the comments section, whether you agree with what happened with Jocelyn Berry in terms of her being terminated. With her resigning. Whether you agree with the actions taken by the Katie Hobbs administration, or whether you think that they overstepped or overreacted. Once again, just share your thoughts. Anyways, guys, that was the breakdown. Peace.